His vocabulary has grown immensely, well over 200 sight words, and every day it gains. She's more than I ever hoped for in a teacher for my son, for our son.
There's one of me most of the time and 26 of them.
I can't imagine having 26 children and trying to get them all under the same direction.
To move a whole group in the same direction, a teacher must lead her learners and learn to follow their leads. In the midst of many children, great teachers adapt careful planning to timely improvising.
Very good.
Rachel Nottingham teaches kindergarten at Citizens Academy, a public charter school in Cleveland, Ohio. For Rachel, as for many teachers, instructing a whole group of students is a very common classroom activity.
What was the problem in the story? Problem.
But it does not define one discrete skill set, like Every Minute Matters, or Think Aloud,
Think about it out loud,
or the gradual release method.
And I do, we do, and you do.
Yet Rachel's stance on whole group instruction does define an instructor's flexible mindset.
Being flexible is key.
Being flexible is key to adapting how new knowledge from the teacher is connected to previous knowledge in the student. The research is clear. Without linking new knowledge to old, no matter the skills used by teachers, there's neither student engagement nor learning achievement. It follows that teaching is like dancing. There are planned steps led by the teacher.
Good. Jalen, 10.
And improvised moves brought forth by her student partners. That is, a teacher moves back and forth between leading students forward and leading forth something already in learners.
Don't all have vowels in a letter.
You're right, they all do. Why don't you come up and find a vowel in red?
Namely, previous experience, the kind that personally engages students and allows them to understand new knowledge. Rachel's rainbow phonics lesson is an example.
And when you hear that, you hear oh. I heard some people when they were coming in this morning sharing something they saw on their way to school. Raise your hand if you saw something in the sky on the way to school. Anisha? A rainbow. Who remembers why we see a rainbow or those stripes of colors in the sky? And who remembers the letters or the name that we gave for those colors? Jasmine.
Roy G. Biv.
Roy G. Biv. Oh, what does Roy G. Biv mean? What's the R for, Michaela?
Red.
Red. Thank you. Good. Roy G. Biv stands for the way those colors form in the rainbow. Kanaya.
Don't all have vowels in a letter.
Why don't you come up and find a vowel in red? And tell me if that E in red is long or short.
Short.
I had no intention of talking about rainbows.
There's a balance between structure and non-structure.
But they saw it and they needed to talk about it, and I, by all means, want them to express themselves and share their stories. And we do that every morning. Around St. Patrick's Day, we did big projects about the colors of the rainbow. So I decided to tie in the science, the colors, and then I thought, well, since we were focusing on phonics, I would go ahead and put the word Roy G. Biv up there and then have them help me spell the words.
Blue. How do I spell blue?
And then my topic was going to be vowels, so I just flooded that right in. Now let's look at the vowels and the words.
If.
I.
And then the word go.
Everyone got to share. Everyone got to say what they saw. I got to do a review of the science and still got the phonics. That happens frequently.
Like all good teachers, Rachel Nottingham had the day's lessons already planned for her 26 kindergartners, but no one can plan a rainbow.
Being flexible is key. I definitely have a written out plan every day. By having the lesson plan, we veer off, but they don't know it.
If teaching is like dancing, then learning is like tracking. That is to say, the path ahead into new knowledge depends on the track behind of previous knowledge.
Some people had some things in their hands that they wanted to share this morning.
Research showing that the brain learns new content only if it first connects to old is pivotal, for it means that Rachel must track her learners back to where they have already stood, to experiences in or out of school before she can guide them forward into fresh discoveries. Rachel doesn't just teach phonics, she teaches students.
Mr. Shelton, I need you.
To lead them well, she must also follow them to where they're coming from. That is, to what engages them and to what they already know.
Whatever I'm teaching about, they remember something that they're able to say, I did that, I saw that, I heard that.
Children don't learn in silence, and they don't learn in a vacuum.
And they know about life events and the things that are happening around them. I do things like, relating themselves to the world. And they're telling me, one time when I was 3.
Think about your stuffed animals. Think about your pillow. Think about your skin. Think about yourself. Zaina, what's a synonym?
A synonym is something that is something as the other.
Same as the other. Give her a fantastic.
Fantastic.
Fuzzy and fluffy doesn't mean the same thing. Think about your stuffed animals. Anyone know a word up there that could also mean squishy? Layla.
Soft.
Soft.
Yay.
If something is soft, it's usually squishy. Think about your pillow. It's soft. Can you squish it? Yeah.
Rough.
Okay, pick rough. Put a little star by it. Now, what word up there would make something feel rough? Think about your skin. Think about yourself, that if you get a certain way, you're going to feel rough.
Rachel never stops connecting learning content back to her learners' own lives, never stops engaging them in things that are real in their own experience, never stops linking previous knowledge to new.
A great teacher needs to be able to listen, not just to the chaos and the noise of a group of kindergartners, but to each individual child, because every child is going to be speaking their own unique language. Rachel's the same way. She finds a unique quality about each child and really understands the child in that way.
Rachel's urge for such deep personal understanding keeps her looking for student cues that lead her to adapt lesson plans to improvised teaching moments.
What some people fail to realize is that the job of a kindergarten teacher is teaching them just how to be away from their parents, how to take care of yourself, how to be able to raise your hand to say you have a need. And so the whole group instruction really makes them feel part of a community. We did not get an education degree to read strictly out of a book, nor does that meet every need of the student. So being able to bounce ideas off of each other and be flexible and meet the needs of the students and really get to know your families even by the home visits. From day one, you kind of get an idea of how you're going to engage those students in your lessons.
Rachel Nottingham has a passion for the dance of teaching, for leading her students and following their leads, for leading forth their natural desire to know about the world they live in. Great teachers are great learners, and Rachel has a passion for learning, for tracking what her whole group already knows and cares about, and then leading them forward to new learning.
Ty, be careful on this one.
Where?
I remember being in college and people saying, "You're being a teacher. You're too smart for that. Why aren't you in the medical field? That's where all the money is." And I never thought about going to college and getting a job to make money. I thought about going to college and getting a job to be happy. And I think that your happiness brings you success, not success brings you happiness. So I'm right where I need to be.